I never thought I'd say this, but PewDiePie's getting pretty good at redstone, isn't he? I mean, I've been watching him progress from creating the flying Swedish meatball. I witnessed it during a live stream, and that was interesting. But now he's moved on to making walking robots and things. It took me months to go from building simple flying machines to making walking robots. Honestly, I'm seriously impressed. Now, was this machine perfect? I mean, no, probably not. I mean, there's some very interesting techniques that have been used here, but it's pretty cool to watch though. I promise I'm not laughing at it. I'm laughing with it. How do I even describe? I mean, it is what it is. It's an awesome machine in its own very special way. I think is the best way to put it. It's I just put a smile on my face, put it that way. So here's what I thought I would do. I thought I would do a video on how I personally would approach the creation of a robot dog, and then I guess we can do like a little comparison type thing. Oh, and obviously because I don't have any Minecraft dogs, I don't have a Sven, I'm going to use my own personal dog, Kubo, who over the past few months has perfected his butt scoot. You know, the shuffle the bum across the carpet. Yeah, he's got really good at that, and before all of you start shouting down in the comment section, no, he doesn't have worms, we got that checked out. He just enjoys itching his bottom, apparently, on our rugs. Now, obviously, with these back legs being pretty important because these are integral to the butt scoot, I thought I would get those in place first. And I imagine they're just going to be pushed from the back a little bit like this. And they are going to be bolt upright like that. I mean, does that look like a paw? Maybe something like that. It's kind of difficult. Maybe I need to mix in... I suppose his fur is a little bit like that. We might need to mix up the blocks a little bit. Hang on, just give me a second.
Hello, mate. Let's just look at your legs quickly. Alright, yeah.
So after performing some very scientific observations there, I can confirm that Kubo's legs look like this. Yep, that's it. Okay, so those are the back legs done. Now we need to get the front legs sorted out, which are going to be the things that are pulling him along. And this is what I've managed to get so far. So as you can see, it's actually looking quite good. Now, originally, I was only going to do single segment legs. So this is a segment right here, and this will go up, get pushed across, then go back down. But they are a tiny bit short, so you can see I've started work on a second segment up here, which is essentially just going to mirror exactly what this design is doing. So all we need is an observer, and then we'll have a sticky piston here, and then that will loop up like that. Yeah, and then our legs are actually going to be about this long. I would say that is probably about right. That is probably about in proportion there. And it's going to look so crazy. Especially now that both of them are in, it looks hilarious already. Right, let's test this thing out. And just so you know, I really don't have high hopes here. I can already sense a potential problem occurring down here, but... Oh, wow. It almost worked. That almost worked. But then something weird happened down at the bottom. After a decent amount of re-engineering, I've now got a system that works absolutely flawlessly. So if I remove this redstone block, you can see that our legs, they just gradually make their way along. Now, obviously, each one of these legs is going to be activated independently. He's not going to be hopping and scooting along, because that looks a little bit ridiculous. But it's good to know that the legs are working, because that's often the most tricky bit. And these are really good legs. It's got a lovely pair of legs. Okay, let's restore this world from a backup, and then we can start work on doing all of the motors and things. Like I just said, the legs often are the most challenging bit. Ooh, actually, that's not going to work, is it? So I guess the redstone blocks will have to go up here. But yeah, the legs are often the most challenging bit, but it really is only about 20% of the story, because now we need to do all the timing circuits and the things that are actually going to move all of this along in sequence, and we have to make it resemble the body of a dog that is sitting down, and then we have to do the head, which is going to be up at the top. This could be tricky, but it's definitely not impossible. I definitely think we can pull it off. Let's see how well this push forward mechanism works then, because normally they're quite tall, so I've done something interesting here. that went perfectly, apart from this situation going on because I accidentally placed the sticky piston. Yeah, not smart. Now, in terms of the motor, my goal is to make this as small and as compact as possible because I actually plan, for the first time ever really, to build an outer shell around this thing. So I want to add in Kubo's fluff kind of on the edges here and hide away a lot of the redstone, which is not really a technique that I've used in previous flying machines. But before we worry about any of that stuff, let's see if this motor actually functions. All we should have to do is update this observer right here. So the funny thing is that the legs kind of half work in that they kind of do this little shuffle thing, but it actually, I'm not going to lay claim that I did that on purpose, okay, but it works even better. Works even better like this, because that's kind of how Kubo shuffles along. Like he kind of, like he gradually moves his feet around. That's comical. Oh man, when we start getting the back legs in as well, and then we get the body on him and the head. Oh my word.
Kubo, you're looking good, mate.
And yes, in case you're wondering, I do always speak to Kubo as if he's a human friend, because to me, he is a friend. In fact, I would go as far as to say that he's probably one of my best friends, really. Anyway, I'm going to get away from all that soppy stuff because I could go on all day. I've added in a bunch of the body parts, and I've also connected up one of his back legs, and now I'm super curious to see if this is actually going to function. I don't know. It didn't look like it, did it? What happened there? What went wrong? What went wrong? So that pushed... Oh, things have stuck together. I think things stuck together. Yes, things did stick together. Right, fixed it. That makes it sound a lot easier than it actually was. We're around about 40 minutes later now. It is doing its thing though, and it already looks brilliant. Okay, let's get everything hooked up on the other side. I'm now going to have to work out what I did here to make it work on this side. Oof, why do I build these flying machines? Why do I... They're always a nightmare. Anyway, I've got it all to work. So now this is the body, all done and dusted, and it's a good one. This is by far my favourite of the robotic bodies I've ever created in Minecraft. I just think it's great. Now it is time for the very important detail of the head. It's difficult to build a dog's head, even at the best of times, let alone one that actually has to move. I think this right here is the ideal kind of setup, but I've built it way too far back. It kind of looks like a boxing kangaroo, so that's not quite right. Maybe bring it further forwards, so it's more obvious that the head is above the legs and the body and things. Honestly, I don't really know. This is my first time building anything that even remotely resembles an animal, so it's quite tough. Boom. There he is. Kubo himself. Man, oh man, is that tough. That might be one of the most difficult things I have done in terms of flying machine things, and I'm still not 100% certain it's going to work properly, but I'm going to make a backup, and we're just going to let it fly. In 3, 2, 1, go. Is it going to work? Oh my goodness, it's actually working. It actually is working. You have no idea. That was the longest countdown ever. Between the 3, 2, 1 and the go, there has been an hour's worth of trying to fix all of the problems, but here is Kubo scooting along, and he actually looks quite good. Oh, this might just be one of the silliest things I've ever made. He looks great. Suddenly all of the time that has been invested is well worth it. Oh, his little face. Just about. I mean, it's changed a little bit, but it still definitely looks like Kubo. His little legs, his little front legs pulling him along, and his little back legs scooting. I mean, it is a very adorable build. I'm just to bits with this thing.
So we go, Kubo, mate. You've you've made it into a video. Congratulations. You did good.
And yeah, I really do hope that you enjoyed watching this video. It's been a lot of fun to make. I'm still enjoying doing the honey block and the slime block stuff. I'm really having to hold back on just creating just constant honey block content, to be honest with you. But this seemed like a good project to work on, so I really do hope that you enjoyed.
One.